Welcome to PTG TV. This is your host Antonio Hicks. Let's get on topic because I've been doing a lot of talking about politics. And I mean, I guess this does involve some technology and stuff, but I mean, it's some interesting stuff that's really been coming out when it involves games. Because I feel like I haven't been doing actual gaming stuff, any justice to discuss it. And if y'all have not been following me on my streams, when I stream every Monday and Wednesday now, and I have been consistent about it for the past 3 to 4 weeks now. I have been very consistent. So you should be following me on my streams. I stream both on YouTube and on Twitch Mondays and Wednesday nights between 7 and 8 p.m. And I stream for about 2.5, 3 hours, sometimes 4, depending on what my mood is and what I got going on the next day. Because I'm a working man, so I can't be like these Thundercats out here streaming until like 3 o'clock in the morning. Because homeboy got to get up and go to work. But yeah, it's been some really interesting stuff going on in the gaming community, especially with new technology coming out, really surrounding it. And I know it's not really surrounding it, but I can vision it going towards that way. Because if y'all heard me on some of my previous episodes, my podcast episodes talking about technologies coming out for the future and some of the things that I'm really excited about. And especially y'all that know that I'm a big anime fan. So there's a big anime. I mean, I guess you can do it like Ready Player One, but this game is anime called Sword Art Online. And I guess it is similar to Ready Player One. So even if you don't watch anime, you can really equate it to Ready Player One. But let's use Ready Player One. So in Ready Player One, you actually can live out and work a job online, like in a metaverse environment, to where you can have storefronts, you can sell merchandise, you can actually go on missions to help out. Well, in that aspect of the movie itself was to help out this other company looking for these artifacts or whatever that was created online. And in doing so, you find certain things that you can't really find in other places, like rare items. You can make money off of it, and you can use it for like IRL, real life currency. And I can really see us. It's the same thing with Sword Art Online. So Sword Art Online was anime, but it's still similar to that gameplay, to what the movie was about. I can't even get my words together. But I can really see us going that way, especially now. I mean, you got the MetaQuest 3, but I mean, we've had VR headsets for a long time. And I don't think they really got us to help push us towards the next level, which is why Meta really suffered from their endeavor of trying to get people to actually participate in the metaverse, because everything seems so cartoony. And who I'm getting ready to say, their stuff is better, but it's still kind of caricature. But I don't think if we would just solely went by what Meta was doing, we could get to where I envision us going, like what we have in, like I said, Ready Player One. But with Apple's new Vision Pro, and I am an Apple fanboy, but I look at everybody. Y'all know I rock two phones. But I really think that with Apple Vision Pro, it can help get us to the next level, because they have the tech in there to really do that, to engross you into a virtual environment. So much so that, looking in through the cameras, they have the algorithm so good up in there to where even looking at AR, you can see everything in real time. Like, there is no lag. And I think that's the biggest thing that you suffered in like the MetaQuest and things of that nature. Like, you could do it with the MetaQuest, because I have seen people walk around and go to like the coffee shops using like the MetaQuest. But with the Apple Vision Pro, like, you see stuff real time for what it is right there in front of you with the same vibrant colors. Like, everything is like still punchy in your eyes and stuff. And you're not realizing that you're actually looking through cameras and them reflecting the image back onto a screen, a highly pixelated screen. I guess heavy pixelated screen, not pixelated, but you understand what I'm saying. To where it looks almost like you're in real life, like you actually, which you are, but your eyes are still looking, technically speaking, looking at a screen. But I can see that what Apple's doing, because Apple is actually gaming and betting on that to be the next stage of communication when it comes to like smartphones and devices. And actually with that technology, I mean, I can see that. I mean, they can perfect how many cameras actually are doing that, or they can get the cameras down smaller, or the lenses down smaller to fit on smaller frames, and you're not walking around, with this big ginormous headset on your face. I can see that. I honestly can see that, because if you can control everything specifically with just your eyes and like minor hand gestures, and they have so many lenses around the headset itself to where your hands could be close to your waist and it still pick up on gestures and stuff. I mean, I can envision us getting that way, and and I think that it actually helped towards the impact of us in culture and society, because that's one of the things that, like, I've talked about, that really can help out like our senior citizens or those that are disabled, to where you can pair up 2 or 3 headsets, and let's say a family member can't get out, or you got a disabled person, and they can't really get out and see the world, but they can actually see the world through your eyes when you're going on a vacation somewhere, to where you can record those 3D or 4D type, or 3D environments, and it's like an immersive environments from the cameras that you have on your glasses, to where they can either replay that, kind of like what you would see in a game like Cyberpunk, this Cyberpunk 2077. So if you can replay that and actually feel like, outside of you smelling it, but you can see it through your eyes, like actually being there, and get to experience it for yourself. Now it is limited to what that person records, but still gives you that idea. It gives you a place to where you can escape from the environment that you're in, to actually put you in another place. So if taking a picture of trip around in Morocco, or let's say you want to go, we ain't going to the Bahamas because some incident happened in Bahamas, but let's say you want to go to Bahamas, go to Atlantis, or any place that you would love to go to. Like, I want to go to Peru. It would be great to be able to put on a headset and have it be so immersive that you can look around 360 and look like you actually, like, and make your brain feel like you actually are there. And I think with the Apple Vision Pro, that's actually where it's headed, which leads on to the topic of today, is to talk about the impact of games on society and the culture and the education of what's going on today. And it's like, games are becoming so immersive and so realistic, like they could potentially blur the lines between virtual reality and like in real world. It's the same thing with violence. I mean, you can have, and it actually, I mean, probably will. I mean, because we all been desensitized, but it really helped toward desensitizing. I can't talk today. Making people actually not really feel like. I mean, I really think this was happening today too, when it comes to movies and when it comes to the video games we do play, and then like music and stuff. Like, they used to blame a lot of stuff on music back in the day when it came to hip hop. Well, not even hip hop, like gangster rap music, and how it desensitized like the youth and not caring about violent crimes and things of that nature. And me being older, I disagree with that back then. I can actually kind of see it today, but today I really do feel like we're getting that way, because when you get into like games and you doing all this, like especially highly violent games like Call of Duties and things of that nature, or even GTA, because I mean, a lot of people, GTA has a huge community behind it. It can desensitize you when it comes to thinking about violence and death of those things. Because I mean, which is why you see a lot of violent acts taking place today, with mass shootings across this whole country, and I mean across the world now too. And I'm not going to wholeheartedly blame it on video games. I'm just going to blame it on like mental health issues. And then you have the escapism of what takes place in video games, to where you can act out some of your desires within those games, but what you do in the games ultimately make it back into real life. And I can't say it's the fault of the game, because I mean, same thing can be said about guns. Like, people try to get policy passed against guns because they want to blame mass shootings on the guns themselves, when it really is the person. Now, who should have access to those weapons? I agree that we can have a discussion about that, and I'm a pro Second Amendment person. If you haven't know, I am the host and producer of the Bass Reeves Gun Club podcast, called Two-Way Gun Culture. So make sure y'all check the episode out. I did post it on my channel, but go make sure you go and follow them on YouTube, and then also follow them on Spotify as well too, so you can get caught up on the new episodes coming out. But so I say that to say that I am a pro Second Amendment person, but I do still believe in policy when it comes to making sure that people that do have mental health issues don't have access to high power rifles and things of that nature. Now, I'm not blaming the guns themselves. I put everything back on people, because even me being a security guy, I will never say technology is the fault when it comes to security risk and vulnerabilities. It's the human. So, I mean, if I can say the human is at fault when it comes to things of that nature, I can say the human is at fault when it comes to super violent acts of human nature themselves. Like, it always leads back to the humans, which is why, I was saying with my sister yesterday that I think is people are the problem. And I'm ready for technology, human or robots and AIs, to come in and assist us with some of our day-to-day lives. Because I'm not going to be in fear of machines more so than I'm going to be in fear of humans. Because, I mean, we as a species do some terrible acts upon one another, with all the wars and stuff we fight over race, we fighting over religion, we fighting over land. I mean, it's just we're terrible when it comes to those things and how we treat one another. And I bring all that back into, games themselves too, because some of these things do take place within video games. Like one is Assassin's Creed, like Black Flag. Love the game. I mean, I love that, and I'm a huge Assassin's Creed person, and I love it. I love that game. And the reason why I love that game so much because it involves the slave trade, and so you sailing around. And you have to, fight with other people. I mean, of course, there's the whole plot behind the game. But the reason I loved it because you can actually go out and go take out slave masters. So I would really sail the seas and find these slave trade ships, and I would bomb the hell out of the ships and sink them. This is all in the game too. I would sink the ships, make sure I saved the slaves, and then I would go back to some of the islands where the slaves were actually, doing crops for like sugarcane and things to make rum. And I would purposely go in and kill all the slave men. Now, I'm not gonna do this stuff in real life, but I enjoyed that. I really did enjoy that because, of history. So I think the games of that nature really do help out and shape culture, and they do have some factual based things within Assassin's, which is why I love that game itself. They do have facts, and they drop nugget bombs, like truth things up in the game, like give you historical data of what this stuff that really did happen. And they just had one recently released on like Egypt. So I think games of that nature are needed. I mean, if you can't teach kids, because most kids don't pay attention to history in school today. I mean, they just really, and I'm not going to sit here and say I did as much when I was in school. I only had one teacher that really taught history to me in a way, and she did in social studies too. She taught history to me in a way that I really loved and how she put it down, and she really enforced, especially when it came to me being a black man in society today, the importance of knowledge and how we should care about one another. And I miss Miss Scott. Miss Scott, she passed. I forgot how she passed. Well, I think she had a heart attack or something. But Miss Scott really, and it's not too many of my teachers, man, that I remember, but I do remember Miss Scott because she really stuck that into me, and she made me into like a history nut. Like she really made me into a history nut. I really want to research, not just Black history, like everybody's history, like our descendants and descendants of other cultures, like where do these ideas and these thoughts come from? So whenever I'm having an argument about anything, it's not really opinion based, even though, it's IT, so it's not opinion based. I actually go by facts and what's been historically represented. Understanding too that even some of the historical stuff has been skewed because, people that's in power can change history up, and they do that with their own knowledge and what they want to put out there to make people believe. I mean, with the Bible being edited how many times, and they use it as a means of control, so much so that, people will tell you that the religion that we had from our own ancestors is wrong, and that the religion that was brought to us from our enslavers was right. Now, believe what you want to believe. I'm not going to say anything is demonic, especially knowing that when the stuff that I'm believing in now was given to me in a very demonic way. So, all those things can be taught within games. And it's not just to get off on the rails. It's like everything kind of ties in together, and how games do influence society, they influence culture, and they do have a huge impact when it comes to education. And it's like other companies are actually believing it. So you have Epic Games. Epic Games. Now, I'm talking about Apple Vision Pro, you only had a handful of apps that came out that was actually ready and accessible for the Apple Vision Pro when it was released. Like, what is it, it was a week ago or 2 weeks ago now? Whenever y'all listen to this. So it was released in February, early February. Yeah, February 2nd. So of 2024. So whenever you listen to this episode, released February 2nd, 2024. But one of the apps that came out ready for it was Disney Plus. And I was like, and I mean, it really kept dawning on me. And I kept asking questions like, this headset costs $3,500. Base price, $3,500. I mean, you're going to need extra stuff on, like, if you wear glasses, like I wear glasses, then you got to spend another $250 to get lenses made for the headset itself too. And so to do that, I'm like, why would I spend $3,800 in one of the entertainment apps on there? The only one at this time right now, I think ESPN is on there, is Disney Plus. Like, I mean, I'm a Disney person because, I mean, they have Marvel and they have Star Wars. I'll watch those things, but I can watch it on my big screen TV. I mean, I can watch it on, my big monitors that's in front of me right now. It's like, why do I want to get a headset on there? But what was it? A week and a half later, news came out that Disney invested a huge stake into Epic Games. Now, Epic Games, y'all, if y'all don't know, Epic Games they have one of the largest games out there, online largest games right now, like Fortnite. Like Fortnite, my kid plays Fortnite. I don't know if he still plays it now, but he played it for the longest. And but they've had concerts. Like Travis Scott has released did concerts inside of Fortnite, and only a certain amount of people could get in at the time that the show was going on and actually interact with it. But everybody else was like in like a sandbox environment where they could see it, but they couldn't actually be a part of it itself. But they did that because they want Epic Games, seeing that how they made the Fortnite world, and Fortnite is always doing updates, kind of like Dead by Daylight. If y'all know that video game, they're always doing updates. This game's been around for a long time. Like Dead by Daylight has been around for a very long time, like 10 or 11 years. But they're always doing updates. They're always adding new characters to make people want to continue to come back to the game. Does the gameplay change? It does not. I mean, it doesn't. Like Dead by Daylight, you still running from a killer, and you got to unlock all these engines to unlock a door to escape the killer's wrath. And the same thing when it comes to Fortnite, you still shooting players down. You get down to the last 1 or 2 players. Either your team wins or you win in your 1v1. But they have different characters they add into the game. So the premise of the game is still the same. But they add in different things to kind of bring you in more. Like you can play as Dragon Ball Z characters. I think they've done something with the Marvel Universe. So it's, they always add stuff to bring you back into it. But I say that like Disney is investing in this game because Disney is trying to create a metaverse. And they want Epic Games to be the one that created for them. So they're going to have different islands for different Disney characters or movies. So where you can walk around, you can shop, and you can do everything within that metaverse itself. Now, doing that, you're going to need to be powered through a VR headset or AR VR headset. And what was the first thing I said? They came out released with the Apple Vision Pro. So that's why I say I can see that how it can go towards, that next stage of being like the Ready Player One and or the Sword Art Online and some of these other, anime stuff that come out. But the one that everybody remembers is just, Ready Player One. So I can see that, how it can actually influence us as a people and us as a culture. I mean, because you can build all kind of stuff out. Like you can build a whole metaverse out to talk about the slave trade and have people interact with folks within the game itself. And I mean, they can actually live out what they in theory would do if they were around. And actually, that would be pretty cool. It's like if you had to embody yourself as an actual slave, and then you try to do some of the things that you talk about, like, it couldn't be me. If it was me, I would be on the run or I'll be going after my slave. I would actually like to see that tried out. Like, that would actually be pretty cool. Like, to see if they could actually, and of course, you can add, I would just like to see that tried out. I'm thinking out stuff in my head because I would love to see them put it into a game itself and actually see what they can do to, if somebody tried to try to run or attack the slave masters. And going, that would be pretty good. And or, not even just, that historic aspect of it. You can go on, just partially just to get on with what's hot in the news right now. What's going on between Israel and Palestine. How would they act out if it was this, swap roles, and or with Iran, or when it comes to, China and the Uyghurs. So, and if y'all don't know, like the Muslim community, the Chinese government is like just really decimating right now, locking them up, putting them in enslavement in camps and stuff. So, or when it comes to, land and mining and stuff taking place over in Africa, like that would actually be pretty cool and would actually teach people if they really paid attention. But it wouldn't have a choice but to pay attention to it because they add it into the storyline and part of the missions, then they wouldn't have a choice. But we can talk about how it actually impacts like society and how it's fostering like social connections to give you like some form of empathy and then help you out with like problem solving skills. And I think that's really what games are really like good for. So you got a couple of games that came out, and some of these games I didn't even know until I was doing research for this topic in itself. Because some of the stuff, like I said before, with like Assassin's Creed, I love that and I love the story that came along with that. But you had one game that was called Bury Me, My Love. It came out in 2017. And it was like a mobile game, and this actually was interesting about it. It tells a story of Salim, a Syrian refugee making his way to Europe via text messages sent to his wife. So, and it helps humanize the refugee experience and challenging assumptions about migration. And I think I didn't know anything about this game. And I haven't really even seen any like major YouTubers even play this game itself. And I'm sure it's just, to keep any negativity coming off people's page, which is interesting to me. It's like, and just get off the topic for just a minor second. Why is it that when you talk about the truth about things, you always get trolls? And I know people do it just to get a rise out of people, but you always get trolls that show up to say something negative when the only thing you're trying to do is just provide knowledge. And even if they're doing that, I've said it on one of my other videos before. It's like, why do you make fake accounts just to do that and just to get a rise out of people? I never understood about people, which is why I say I'm ready for machines to come in. I don't understand, like, why is that programmed into your brain that you want to do something to cause some kind of mental distress to people just for ha-has, just for the shits and the giggles. But anyway, back to the top, like games that help out with boosting like societal things. Like you got Minecraft. Anybody should know about Minecraft. Anybody should know about Minecraft. Minecraft, if you don't know, Minecraft is like this sandbox game that allows players to build anything they can imagine, like literally anything that you can imagine, fostering creativity, like your problem-solving skills and collaboration. It's even used for educational settings to teach like STEM concepts or STEAM concepts and design thinking. Like even my nephew actually played this game. You can learn programming in this game. I've seen people actually build out an entire city. Like I saw one guy, he had worked on it for like 7 years building this city out to where like he literally had everything in detail. Like it was like a huge castle type thing too, to where you can go in. Every room was accessible. Every room had furniture in it. Everything was designed like if you actually saw it in real life. Like it was beautifully done. It took this man 6 years to build this out. That takes dedication. But yeah, I mean, you can learn from the game too. They teach, like I said, you teach programming in there. Like you program with Python in the game itself. So a lot of these games really do help out with pushing creativity, helping you out like with your math skills, or just in social connections. You have another game called Outer Wilds. It came out in 2019. It was a space exploration game that follows an astronaut exploring a solar system on the brink of a supernova. It explores themes of environmentalism, existentialism, and the value of exploration, prompting reflection on our own path in the universe itself. You have Alba, which is a beautifully made game. Like the colors in the game and the saturation is beautiful. You have Alba, a wildlife adventure. It's the open world adventure game life explores a Mediterranean island that helps preserve its diverse wildlife. It raises awareness about environmental issues and inspires action. You have Endling, an extension is Forever, came out in 2021. It's a side-scrolling platformer game that casts players at the last mother fox on Earth, raising her cubs until they can fend for themselves. It delivers a powerful message about extinction and the importance of conservation. And then you have, I mean, I'm sure a lot of y'all remember, like you got the old party games. I mean, it's still relevant now, but you got the old party games. They help bring us together as a collective, so we can sit down, laugh, and have some fun together. Like Mario Party, like Monopoly. You have Uno, lead to some fights. And then you had the old school, Wii Party. So a lot of this stuff it helps out with, breaking some of the social norms and social anxieties of talking to people. And I think it really can help boost us to come closer together. Because a lot of people will say, oh, you playing so much time with video games, like you really going to talk to, people. But I'm like, you actually are talking to people online. Now, I say that to say, listening to all the positive stuff, you can have some negative impacts when it comes to games and how it can help towards, addiction and then violence and stuff. Because you got excessive game time. It's like spending too much time. It can lead to neglecting other people, your responsibilities, such as your studies, doing work, or any like personal relationships, because you're so engrossed in like playing a video game. Which I mean, we've all seen that when it comes to men, especially with 2K or any of the Madden games back in the days. Like you spend so much time playing these games, like you neglecting your girlfriends or your spouses or whoever. Like the bros only sitting there going fight with one another. It also helps with negative mental health. So it's, in some cases, excessive games can become a clinical disorder impacting daily life and causing distress. Some might include like neglecting other activities, withdrawal symptoms when not playing, and lying about just like your game habits. It can not help with. It can cause depression, anxiety, sleep disturbances, especially like in people that have like serious mental health issues that they're not addressing. So it does have its negative sides to it as well. With too much gameplay, I mean, especially if you spend it online, like you're not really playing with anybody online, you're just playing by yourself, to where it does keep you disconnected from society and actually getting out and getting some fresh air. Because I mean, even as human beings, we need to get out and actually be in nature itself. Like even me, I've always advocated for that, and I'm an IT person, and I know people are, it's weird to say that. I love to disconnect sometimes. Like I love getting out and like getting some fresh air sometimes, because that's what the body needs. Like you need some vitamin D in life. You need to get out and actually open the window up sometimes too. Even if you're inside, open the window up sometimes, get some fresh air circulating through the house. Like I love getting outside. I don't do it all the time, but I do love getting outside and being in nature itself. I think, as a species, that's what we need. And then you have games that help tackle culture and what that looks like, and then bringing about some form of diversity, and then adding, just to help tell stories, so we all can see ourselves in the actual games themselves too. And they have like different, like unique narrative elements, and they engage in the audience. So you have games like Tomb Raider. So Tomb Raider, it was based on Lara Croft becoming a game. She was an icon, and she was a significant female action hero, influencing representation in the industry and sparking discussion about gender roles. And Tomb Raider actually turned into from a video game to an actual movie that did very well. I think they did 3 movies off of it. So even if you never even played a video game, you can still go in and watch the movie and enjoy it itself. You had Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. So this was an open world game. It's so Grand Theft Auto. It worked with addressing like racial tension within like the Los Angeles area, sparking debates about violence in games, and its portrayal of sensitive topics. So Grand Theft Auto is a very interesting series, because I don't know how old some of y'all are that's listening in, but I remember Grand Theft Auto, the first Grand Theft Auto first came out, it was banned. Like when the game came out, they offered it online, but once people actually saw the game and the kids started playing the game, it got banned, because I mean, it's a very violent video game. Like you actually you can live the life of a drug lord. You can make money just off of selling drugs and doing was it prostitution back in the day? It was saving prostitutes. I know it was saving prostitutes. You go into strip. So I will say, it's not a game made for people that's 18 and below. It's really not. I will argue to say probably not even for 18-year-olds. But now, everybody plays it. Everybody plays it. It's like Grand Theft Auto 5 has been out for 7 years now, 8 years now, if not longer. And the game is still one of the most highly played games. Grand Theft Auto Online, I mean, it's highly played and people play it. And highly played and people play it. Yeah, here we go again with that. But it's a popular game. I mean, it does break down some racial barriers, but then I think too, though, I think it gives people the empowerment to think they can start using words that they should not be using. And we're not going to say those words on this show, because I don't say those words on this show, and we're not going to say. But I think it does give people the comfortability to think that they can do that. There was another game, Journey 2012, and this was like an online adventure focused on connection and emotional impact, transcending language barriers and showcasing the power of shared experiences in the games. Then you had games that impact on communities like esports. Esports is huge. It is a multi-billion-dollar industry. So you had the World of Warcraft, the League of Legends, even Minecraft was one of the using in esports. And it's like when parents start talking to kids about, what can you wasting your time away playing video games? I'm like, I actually disagree with that. I mean, I guess you could have said that back in the day, because we didn't have the internet as big as it is right now. But kids now have made millions just playing video games, like being streamers and stuff. That's a career that we never thought would even have been a thing. Same as the internet. When the internet first came out, people was like, who would actually be doing this? Like, who would actually be online? And I'm like, now look where the internet is today. Like, it's allowed us to become even more connected than what we had been before the internet, because now you can talk to people in different countries. So it's the same thing when it comes to video games. We never saw it as a career. We never could even imagine, but that's the limitless, that's the how small our mindset was when it comes to not really thinking outside the box. Because games allow, I mean, even before, what was it, Super Nintendo? Not before Super Nintendo, but with Super Nintendo, they had I guess it was speed runs, but it was a Super Mario Brothers like the competition. The way they had an event take place out in California, to where you go out and meet with people across the world, and you would play like in competition doing like speed runs. I want to say speed runs. I don't remember the specifics of because this is when I was younger too. But now looking to forward, I mean, like you got even Fortnite. So you have tons of esports out there. Like 2K games of that nature, like the Maddens, they play against one another. Street Fighter was a big one. And there's monetary prizes that come along with it. So you can become a successful video gamer and actually make a good living off of it, more so than all of us that went to school and in student loan debt and working regular jobs and hoping for increases, and we're getting 2 to 3%. If you're getting 2 to 3% increase every year and not getting any bonus checks, so yeah, these kids are doing it. So yeah. And then you got games that deal with diversity, like games like Horizon Zero Dawn, which you got character like Aloy, a young Nora Huntress. You got Marvel Spider-Man. They had Marvel. Miles Morales, a young Afro-Latino teenager. You had Life is Strange, True Colors. That's a very good storytelling game. They had Alex Chen in there, a young Asian American woman. You had Final Fantasy VII, which is one of my all-time favorite RPG games out there. I love the Final Fantasy series. Square Enix makes some of the best RPG games out there. You can argue me all day, every day, but they make some of the best role-playing games on the market out there. But Final Fantasy VII was one of their better ones. I love all the rest of them, like Final Fantasy Tactics. I love that because you had to really think about some of the gameplay and then how you're going to do strategy and stuff with taking down some of the other characters. But in the Final Fantasy VII, you had Barrett Wallace. He was an older black man. He played a pivotal part in the story of the game and moving like helping Cloud out, which was the main character. And then, like I said before, GTA, you got GTA 5. The main character in that game is Franklin Clinton, a young African-American kid. But it does help with pushing diversity. Like one of the biggest ones out there is Spider-Man and Horizon Zero Dawn. Spider-Man, Miles Morales is probably one of the best Spider-Mans they've made. People have really said that. I have yet to play any of them. I watch people play the games, but I've yet to play any of the Spider-Man games. But watching the gameplay of it, and then looking at the community and then how much money that game has made, is a very popular game. Now, people have said it's one of the best Spider-Mans that was actually created that you can play today. And then Horizon Zero Dawn, I did play it. I played the first one and the second one, and I beat both of them. And that's a very good game. Then you got games that help out with education. So, and there's a ton of games out there, so I'm going to get no too specifics when it comes to all those things, but it helps with problem-solving skills, your critical thinking. They have studies showcased to where it actually helps out with dementia or fighting dementia. It helps out with your cognitive ability. So video games really does help you mentally. That's why you see a lot of older people when they start playing chess, because that's not a video game, but they start playing chess. It's like those repetitive nature things, and you actually got to start thinking to do certain moves to play against the other person that you're playing with. So it's the same thing that can be done with video games because you're using a controller, so you got your hand-eye coordination. You got to pull off certain things faster to beat a certain character. You got to really think about. There's a lot of thinking when it comes to playing a game. Like one of the games, I can't even think what the game is right now. It's not Dark Souls. It's another one. To me, like it is. The game is so freaking hard. I rage quit it. I could not get off moves in time good enough. And it's not to say that because I'm older, I can't do it. I've beaten a ton of games. This game is like extremely hard to where it pisses you off how hard it is. And I tapped out on it. I go back every now and then and try to play it some more. I've even worked because it's a role playing game too. And some of the premises behind role playing games, you got to level your character up to be able to beat like certain bosses in the game. So I think that there is an algorithm in that game to where the more you level up, the boss that you thought you could have beat as an early stage boss, it goes up with you too. And I'm like, how was this even possible? Like, I think my character in that game, I'm like at a level 20 something, and I still cannot beat one of the first stage bosses. And I'm just like, what in the world? So I can beat regular enemies in the game, but when it comes to the bosses, nah, son. Nah. But like I said, that it helps with your hand-eye coordination. So I think it can help with fighting dementia. It can help with, your just being cognizant of your environment and stuff. So I can foresee us going into that aspect of the next stages of gameplay with the Apple Vision Pro headset. And it's not to be it's not to be a fanboy when it comes to it. It's the technologies that's in there. So you can disconnect the whole Apple ecosystem from out of it. It is the tech that's in that headset versus what's in like the MetaQuest or some of the other VR headsets out there right now. They have so much technology from the cameras, like the computation stuff, the computing that's in there, the chips, to where you don't see that anywhere else. And I can see with them doing that, how we can get to that next stage of gameplay, how we can get to the next stage of the metaverse, and then, how we do and how we work going forward. But I guess I didn't say this early on about the characters. So MetaQuest, Zuckerberg was like, we can see us working in these augmented reality environments. But then the character that depicts you, it's like a little, it's like a little avatar. And I'm like, I don't want to be in a meeting and only thing you see of me is like a little cartoony avatar. Apple is not like that, but it's not great either. And I get that this is the first iteration of it, and there are going to be updates to make it a whole lot better. But this first iteration, it does not look good at all. So you can go look at MKBHD. He got a full review on it. If you don't know MKBHD, you can look at iJustine. She has a full review on it. Who were some of the other ones? The Verge, they did a full review on it. A couple New York Times, I think they did a review on it too, to where they actually show like their character or how their avatar looks on the headset. And it is close, but it's still not. To me, it's not there. So the whole premise of this whole episode is just to think about gameplay and where we're going as a society, how it actually impacts culture, how it actually impacts some of our society norms, how it can help change some of our beliefs. If you can get more people to like log in and be open to change, and look at like some of the things that how it impacts and how it shapes society. I mean, I really think they should have something in there for all like courses when it comes to education, especially when it comes to college courses too. And one of the things I said before in from one of my previous podcasts is even using augmented reality. This is like a tech talk in this whole game discussion. But even like in the augmented reality thing, if what we have right now we had during the pandemic, I don't think a lot of kids would have suffered from like a lot of mental health. Because one of my youngest kids suffered from like mental health issues during the pandemic because he's an introvert, but he still relied off the energy of other people around him. So to disconnect him and pull him away from that, he really started having some issues to where he had to go see a therapist. But I think that if you had the headset that we have now back then, and you could actually put people in a full augmented reality environment, like they were actually sitting inside of a classroom, I think that would have helped. I think it would have made them feel like they were still able to go to school and they were still able to be around some of their peers and stuff. So only thing I say is if you have kids that are playing video games and they're actually involved in the video games and they're talking to other people within the community, don't discourage them to like log off all the time. Of course, you want to have some, cut a time frame on how much time they're spending inside. Because like I said early on, you want to get them outside sometimes too. But actually encourage them that if they're going to be playing, to actually make some friends online and build up a community. And that way, I think and even as an adult, I express the same thing too. Like, give it a shot. Like, I mean, that's a good way to disconnect. Like, even me, sometimes when I've had a hard day at work, and I'm in the Atlanta area, so I had a hard day at work, and I got to sit in Atlanta traffic. Atlanta traffic is crazy. It's like an hour. It takes me now like almost, it's not almost, an hour and a half to get home from work. And if it's peak time, it's almost an hour and 45 minutes to 2 hours, depending upon if the weather outside itself too. But it used to be I would come home and I would just, grab me a drink. If I didn't go to the gym, I would grab me a drink and sit down and play some Grand Theft Auto or play a role-playing game, just like to wind my brain down from the day. And it helps to calm you down. And so a lot of these other games, they do have, like Alba, the music in there is relaxing music. It's almost like lo-fi music. So it's relaxing music. So it really helps to calm you down. And also while you're learning something on top of it too. So yeah, I mean, I can see where we're going with games and how it's going to influence society and how it's going to influence the culture right now. And I'm excited behind it. I mean, I'm all for it 100%. So yeah, like I said before, give it a shot. I encourage everybody to get out there and play. Go get your gaming PC. And don't just buy one, build one. I'm gonna get back on the tech talk now. I'm gonna build a gaming PC so you can learn how technology work and learn how the stuff works inside of it. And building the gaming PC is almost like Legos. Everything is plug and play. Now you have to go and install the operating system and stuff, but still everything is plug and play. Yeah, you got to be careful with it, but it's still plug and play. So you learn how technology works. You learn how to build it out the right way and what to put in there, and what GPU goes with what CPU and all that kind of stuff. But then once you do all that, now you got a gaming PC, and then now you got a work PC because if you get the graphics card and stuff, you got a high-end computer, and you can do a whole bunch of stuff with it. So if you want to learn some programming language, that's memory intensive. You know how much RAM you put into your computer. If you want to do some graphic design work, you want to do some digital design work or animation, now you got a good GPU in there that can sustain that and help you do all that stuff. Because we have to change up. This is off of the gaming stuff, but we have to change up how we're doing stuff now. Because AI is taking so many jobs, we got to redefine ourselves. And at the end of the day, you're always learning something. So thank y'all for tuning into this episode. Want to do something a little different, not talk about politics, because I'm still paying attention to political, so I got to when it comes to the show. But I pay attention to it too because I'm still active sometimes. I kind of pulled away from it this year. I haven't been doing, it's only February, but I haven't been doing as much political stuff as I had been doing last year, especially the year prior to that, because I'm trying to pull. It's so bad now. I really get emotionally attached to it to where it pisses me off, and and I know I kind of make my wife mad when I be talking about it. I know I do make her mad when I talk about it so much, but I'm pulling myself away from it and disconnect from it. So I want to do more tech talk episodes, but I also want to do more talking about games and stuff too, and get on the emotional impact of stuff in society. So I got to pay attention to it, but I'm still, when it comes to like my physicalness being a part of it, pulling away from it, disconnected from it. Because when you see what's going on around you and in the community, and then you see I'm gonna make an episode on like what's really happening in politics, and you see what the people in office are not doing, and the people running for office they're not talking about, kind of pisses you off and makes you mad. So thank y'all for tuning in to this week's episode, or whenever you listen to this episode. Thank y'all for tuning in. Make sure y'all follow me on all my platforms on YouTube. I'm almost up to 3,000 now. I told you the gameplay was trying to get to the whole 1,000. So I hit 1,000. I'm almost up to 3,000 subscribers now. So I want to get to 10 before the year is out. So I'm going to set that goal for myself to try to get to 10,000 before the year is out. And then get more people, y'all come and pay attention to the whole episode. And then make sure y'all tune into my streams every Monday and Wednesday night between 7 and 8 o'clock. Every single Monday and Wednesday night. I try to stream sometimes after that. It don't always happen because I be doing other stuff too. But it's guaranteed Mondays and Wednesday nights between 7 and 8 o'clock. I will be online playing the game. You can join me on there. You can join me in my Discord. And sometimes too, I'll let y'all chime in. I'll let you come into the actual chat and we can chop it up while I'm playing the game and stuff too. But make sure you subscribe there, leave a comment, let me know how you feel about the episodes or anybody you want me to interview, because I actually do interview real life people that's working in some of these industries. I don't care if it's politicians, I don't care if people deal with mental health, I don't care if people dealing with education or technology, any of those things. I actually talk with people or industry leaders and have them on my show. So I'm glad people are paying attention now, but I do have real life people on my show that actually makes an impact to some of these things. So I just finished, I know I haven't finished out yet, but I just did my West Coast journey where I talk to people that's doing impactful things over in California side of the house. So make sure y'all go watch some of those episodes. Again, I am the host and producer of the Bass Reeves Gun Club, which is part of the MAGA community, which is the largest black gun club within this country itself. So we have our branch, which is the Bass Reeves Gun Club here in the city of Atlanta. And I am the host and producer of their new podcast. So again, make sure y'all go and subscribe to that channel, 2A Gun Culture. Again, it's 2A as A as an alpha, Gun Culture. And then, follow my podcast on all podcast platforms, literally on all podcast platforms. Google, Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, all of my podcasts is everywhere. Follow me on there. Make sure y'all like it. And make sure y'all, again, leave comments. Again, let me know how I'm doing. So hope y'all are, hope y'all are safe. Hope y'all are being safe. Make sure y'all are protecting yourself, and make sure y'all mask up sometimes too, because COVID is still real. And if you are like susceptible to being sick, put a mask on. I don't wear one as much because I've had COVID. Not to say this, I'm immune to it. I am not immune to it. And I've had the vaccines and stuff too, but I am not immune to it. But if you have high risk, make sure you are putting a mask on. I'm not a high risk person, but make sure you put a mask on. So y'all be safe out in the streets, man. Love y'all. Nothing but blessings for y'all. Matrix.